I'm gonna lose majority of you with the next set of words that I'm going to say. Budgeting. Yeah, see it? That budgeting word. You just got that like sick, vile feeling in your stomach. You're like, oh, I don't want to talk about budgeting. So you've already probably moved on and clicked off. But if you are still here with me, let's go through the misnomer of how scary budgeting can be and what we can do to be better about it. But ultimately, you're not going to get anywhere with your wealth journey if you don't understand budgeting. I want to give you a little background about budgeting. Budgeting, we have spoken about for eons, right? I started this industry in the insurance industry, and we were told, don't use the word budgeting, use the word spending plan. Let's make it softer approach for people to discuss. Funny thing is, companies use budgeting forecast. They've always used the term budgeting. So we've got the richest companies that are the most successful in the world using the term, meeting about it monthly, quarterly, annually, etc. But personally, we should be afraid of the word. And so the media has always pushed that out. Let's focus on spending plan. Let's get away from the word budgeting. It's restrictive. It's constrictive. It's told us not to do anything. I'm here to tell you, use the word budgeting, and we'll tell you exactly how to do it correctly. But first, let's hit up some stats. Did you know that only 32% of Americans actually have a detailed budget? 32%. That is a third of us that actually have a detailed budget. The stat doesn't even tell you if they actually use it or not. They just said that they actually have one. Crazy to think about. Another stat we discuss all the time, and you pop up every now and again on the news feed, is that 60% of Americans could not pay for some type of an emergency that cost $1,000. They could not do it without dipping in credit cards, going into debt otherwise, or asking friends or family for it. Now, with those two stats, are you one of them? Does that make you feel comfortable? Or does it give you the heebie-jeebies? Or like our son, Croy, the youngest of us, for us, he calls them the ibble-jibbles. Not the heebie-jeebies, the ibble-jibbles. It's a hilarious, cute little thing. So if you're feeling like that, you got the ibble-jibbles, let's work on that. Because 70% of us that actually have a budget, so 32% have one, 70% of those actually feel like they're in control of their money and they know where they're going and they have a path. So let's work on that. First, what is something I can do to do budgeting? One, you got to get over that term. All right, you got to move past that. It is not restrictive. It's not judging you. It's not comparing you to others. It's just what it is in your life. Legitimately is what it is. How do we control it? How do we get a better understanding? I first and foremost, and we'll tell everyone this always, get to know who you are first. Understand what you're passionate about, what brings you joy the most. What brings you the most joy? Then we can develop your budget. So I take everyone through this exercise, and you can have this exercise tool for free. We will work on this somewhere down the line, but at least you can hear from me right now. And that is to go back to the last 12 statements of your bank account and your credit card. Go ahead and highlight all of the things that brought you joy. Pick your color too. If it's green, cool. Yellow, pink, purple, I don't care. Highlight all the things that you purchased money on and spent money on that brought you joy. Yes, you know what's next. Go ahead and highlight all the ones that did not bring you joy, that you thought was a waste of money, okay? You're gonna have really three sections. You're gonna have the ones that bring you joy, the ones that you think were a waste of money, and then kind of the middle ground, just everyday things that have to happen, right? That's okay. I only want you to do the best, the things that bring you joy, and the things that you thought you legitimately wasted money on, and I want you to total those up. So you've totaled those up for the 12 months now. Tell me if you spent more money on things that brought you joy than you did things that didn't. Majority of us won't be able to say that. What we're gonna be able to say is, hey, I did spend a lot of money on shit I didn't need or didn't want or don't feel good about it anymore. What if we just took 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% of the money that we wasted and turned it into something that we want to spend money on that's more joyful, or save for things that are more joyful? Use that exercise. That's your first and foremost exercise that you need to do and you need to accomplish. The second one is you should be having monthly financial meetings with your family or yourself to review not only your budget, what you allocated for, but to where are we? How do we feel? What are we working towards? The conversations around money are so lacking in this country, which cause us to have this weird gut, terrible feeling around it. But if we talk about it more, it becomes easier, becomes part of us, becomes part of our lifestyle. Third, may or may not be the most important for you, is now that we've understood where we are with joy, we've understood that, hey, we need to meet more often about it and discuss with others about it. Third is now taking that and putting it as part of your lifestyle to reach your goals. right? What if that's saving for retirement? Yeah, I know, big word. A lot of us are young. Retirement's not a thing, right? Blah, blah, blah. But putting money away in certain buckets that allow us to achieve the goals that we want. That's what you need to do. Now, ultimately, what helps the budget the most? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah, duh, more income. More income will help your budget out. I don't care who you are. You can cut as much expenses as you want. But if you don't make more money, you're not going to go anywhere. So we also need to focus on making sure you know your value, asking for what you are worth, working hard to bring in the income while we achieve the expenses that align with our joyful spending. Therefore, we have this complete budget. Guess what budgets also are? They're just an average, folks. It's not like every month you have to be like, oh shit, I only could spend $1 more on food and it's the 20th. No, it's the average. You want to stick as close to the average as possible. Some months will be up, some months will be down. But ultimately, at the end of the year, we want to hit those budget numbers. So don't be afraid to go over this month or go under this month and say, oh, I have to spend this to get up there. Don't do that. It's just an average that we talk about. We want to stay within our lane. And that is the only thing that budgeting really needs to be about. On the next episode of Let's Get Real, what attaches to budgeting is our debt. Good debt, bad debt, shit debt, whatever debt you want is going to be in there. We're going to discuss that. But we encourage you to always comment, like, share, do all of the shit that helps us from an algorithm perspective. Help us bring more content to you. What do you want to know? What do you want my unhinged self to talk about? And ultimately, we're going to be real with it. So let's get real.